what a difference we've made to the families, but we know that over the 6 weeks, it's amazing how their attitudes to cooking and what they do changes. It's gaining confidence. That's what it's all about, is gaining confidence.
Yeah.
And over the period of time, they begin to gain confidence. And all right, some of them are very slow, but perhaps they don't want to do it. But eventually, it is surprising how many of them actually say, I actually cooked a meal from scratch yesterday, and which they had not done ever before. So it's really giving them confidence, showing them the basics of what to do. They've got their cookery book, and we always did a main course and a pudding, or a cake or something like that. So they learnt how to do things which they've never done before. Never done before at all. Yeah.
And in terms of leftover food and things like that, how did you approach that?
Well, we didn't actually have any leftover food we had at the course.
Oh, yeah, no,
they took home.
I mean, they're teaching them not to to use up leftovers and try to.
Well, that is not part of the Let's Cook thing, really, because we're supposed to stick to the recipes, and the recipes don't generally use leftovers. I think a lot of people throw a lot away because they don't know about what to do with leftovers, and I think Let's Cook should do a lot more with teaching them how to use up food. Bubble and squeak, for instance, they didn't know what that was. So, you've got any vegetables, doesn't matter what it is, just throw it all in the pan, fry it all up and dish it up with some pickle and whatever, and you've got another meal. Amazing, So it's because I personally never have any food waste. All the vegetable peelings, which I collected at Let's Cook as well, go to my chickens, and I don't throw any cooked food away, ever. It's eaten somehow.
Yeah, brilliant.
It either goes in soup, or if I've got some chutney in the cupboard that's dried up, I'll put it in a curry. It doesn't get thrown away.
No, brilliant.
Nothing gets thrown away.
Can you tell me about the fruit? Trying to get the family to experiment, and you talked about fruit that you.
Well, it was just something we did off our own bat. Really, was the idea that a lot of these people have never tried unusual things, exotic fruits and that. So we would buy about £3 worth a week of fruit of some sort that is not normal, kumquats, lychees, things like that, and we take them in and put them on the table for them to try. Some liked them, some didn't, but they're glad they tried them because, that's nice. But they've tried them, so if they can afford them, they can go and get them. But otherwise, at least they know what they taste like. It's really making sure that people know what all the bits and pieces are, what it tastes like, how it goes together. It's introducing them to different foods to know how they can mix things. And the business of when we made a stew one day, I was frying up the onions and I threw the flour in, then I put the water in, and they said, "What have you done?" I said, "Well, this is the base of any stew, really. You're supposed to fry the meat sometimes, but it doesn't always taste better. But if you fry the meat and then you take the meat out, put it in a pan, then you throw the onions in, and then you cook that, then you put the flour in, cook that, put the water in, and then you've got the basic for your stew, and you chuck the meat back in with all your vegetables, and that's fine." Oh, we didn't know that. Brilliant. They've never cooked a stew from scratch and never appreciated how to do it. And because the cooking difficulties at some of these places, there were 2 cookers there, and they were touch hobs.
Right.
And if anybody put anything on the wrong point on that hob, the whole hob went off.
Oh dear. Okay.
And towards the end, we actually only had 1 hob, because the other one gave up the ghost altogether. I think the whole oven gave up as well. So we tended to have to double up the portions into a big saucepan, and I would have 3 big saucepans on the top of the cooker, cooking for 6 or 7 people. And then we would share it out.
Brilliant.
So, and you know, they were quite amazed at what came out.
Yeah.
This is jolly good. Never realised that a few bits of vegetable and a little bit of meat can make this, you know.
Did you sit down with the children, the parents? Did you have the opportunity to do that?
Well, the children tend to come in about 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would sit down and eat the food.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really get too much involved in that because we were trying to clear up at that point in time because we had to get out by 12. So we tended to help clear up, finishing off the cooking, putting all the food that had been left over into dishes so that they could take them home, and anything that we hadn't used they took home. So we didn't get involved in the children, no.
Okay,
No.
that's great.
But the children did like all the cakes and things.
Yeah, I bet they did.